Joining us now here on the Black and Gold Banneret, she is a three-time All-Conference performer, three-time conference champion, three-time NCAA tournament appearance, and now, of course, the all-time leader at UCF in blocks assists. Just broke the record over the weekend. I speak of Anne Marie Watson joining us. That's a lot of in your resume there.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Let's kind of start with the record. That's a pretty significant record you broke there down in Miami, uh, breaking the old record held by Tyra Harper, who's a UCF Hall of Famer, arguably the greatest player in program history with all her accomplishments at UCF and even beyond UCF. I know you probably didn't know about the record, but just give me your thoughts here after the match, because you probably were told about it at some point. I was curious what your reaction was when you found out.
It was funny. Actually, Claudia Dillon's dad was like, it was like we were all at the end of it. All the parents were there, and I kind of heard him say like "congrats," but it was that sort of thing you can't really hear what he's saying "congrats" about. So I was like, "Oh, like thank you, thanks." I wasn't really sure. I thought it was more about like "congrats" on the game. And then my parents come walking down, and my mom and my dad are like, "Congrats! Like we're so proud of you and everything." And I was just like, wait, what? And then that's when they ended up telling me about how it was posted and all that stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that that was even in the same ballpark of, what I was going to be doing this season. So it was a real shock just because obviously I'm not one to really be paying attention to that kind of stuff. Um, but obviously it's great to be able to celebrate that with my team and that weekend. And it was just a great weekend for us as a team overall. So it was just awesome.
You're second all time in total blocks behind Harper. Just talk about the blocking, and I mean that's what you're known for. That's what you're kind of in a lot of ways your profile is. It's so remarkable what you've accomplished. You're going to be kind of in line there with the Harpers. You're the two greatest blockers in the history of the program when it comes to blocks, total blocks, blocks, assists, you name it. Just describe what that stat means, because it's beyond the stat. It's more than that, what it means to a team.
First of all, Harper, she's an amazing athlete. I walk into practice every day and I kind of see her name up there on
Yeah.
that wall. And it's really surreal to see that I'm kind of up there with her, but also just kind of knowing I wouldn't be at this blocking level without my teammates pushing me, without the coaching that I've had to be able to develop me over these last, 5 years. I've been very lucky to have the support system that I do and to have the team that I do to just push me to get to that point. And I do kind of pride myself more on the blocking than anything. At the end of the day, if I feel like I'm not doing good with blocking, I'm like, oh, great, okay, I just got to focus on that. But no, I'm very lucky to be able to have the coaching staff that I have to develop me to get to that point, and just the teammates, to be able to push me to keep being better. They push me every day in practice, and we all push each other. So we're very lucky to have that.
Of course, you break the record up in Boca Raton as part of the Sunshine Challenge. The team goes 3-0. That has to help make even sweeter that you had a great weekend as a whole as a team, and obviously the record there kind of set the tone that weekend.
Yeah, we were really happy to be able to finish up the preseason like that, to be able to go into conference, with that weekend sweep and all that. So I think it was good, gain of momentum to go into conference play, this weekend and everything.
How do you all feel? This has been a unique deal because you obviously had to play in the spring, and now you come back at a quick turnaround. What has it been like from the team's standpoint? Because it's unusual. You have two seasons basically within one. Has there been any effects of that? Have you noticed any differences that it would be, or has it been a benefit?
Um, I think in the beginning, I don't think we realized how much it did affect us. I think we were just kind of powering through because we're like, oh, it's just volleyball. We're going to keep playing the game that we love. We weren't thinking twice about it. And then these last couple of days, we've been lucky enough to have a couple of days off from just, volleyball in general, give our bodies a rest. Uh, but I think in hindsight, we do realize how much, wear and tear it is on our bodies to have a quick turnover for seasons. And, usually you kind of start to feel, a little bit of a drag in October to really push through. And we're kind of starting to feel that now, but it's the sort of thing where it's like, we're just pushing through, and we're going to get through it together. And it's just, we're going to go out there and play volleyball. And I could really think about that. We're just going to take care of our bodies, on and off the court, with ourselves and with our team. And then we're just going to keep pushing through and playing volleyball.
What have you learned as a team through the pre-conference? Coach Dagenais, as he usually does with you, schedule's tough. Really tough schedule. You got played Penn State, you played South Carolina on the road, you played obviously Florida State, you played Georgia, some dramatic matches. Just what have you, as a team, what have you learned as you get into conference?
Oh, probably, this preseason, we knew they were going to be tough teams, but we all knew that these were teams that we could beat and that we could win and that we could keep up with. And we did beat some of those teams, and we were very happy with that. And even the teams that they were, close games, but, it didn't go our way. We weren't, upset with how we played. We were proud of how we played, I think. And now we just go into season knowing the level that we can play at and the level that we have, the standard kind of that we have for our whole team. We know that that's what we want to play at during conference and throughout the rest of the season. We don't really want to focus on the other side of the net and play down to their level. We know the level that we want to play at, and that's how we're going to play for going into conference.
It's going to be fascinating. Of course, you're the defending 3-time conference champions. You begin conference play, so you're going to have a target on your back. Is that something as one of the leaders you bring up to some of the players? I mean, you're a pretty veteran team, so you're accustomed to this. But still, I mean, you're going to be a target. What's kind of the mindset going into conference play? Is it kind of like, hey, let's be ready to go on top of your game because we're going to get everybody's best shot?
We don't really talk about the number, actually, about, how many. We just, go into practice every day, and we're going to work our hardest every day in practice to be able to get to that goal that we want. And that goal is to win conference. We don't really think of, how many times in a row or anything like that. That's all beside the fact. We just go in and work on this season, this day, this game, and that's it.
Let's talk about you and your journey. You're a local kid. First of all, how'd you get into playing volleyball? Was that something you always wanted to do, or it just kind of happened?
I started off playing softball. I played softball for almost 10 years, I want to say. I always wanted to actually go to college and play softball in college. And then once I got around high school, during the off season of softball, there was volleyball first in the fall. And, a couple of my friends and everything, they were just like, you should try playing volleyball for high school and all that good stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll do that instead of doing slow pitch softball. So I did that, and I was just kind of hoping to make a team. And then I got on varsity, and the coach there was Adam Levi at the time, and he really developed me. And I started off as a middle, and then he introduced me to, club and all that. And the rest was kind of history. I made the decision to stick with volleyball over softball. And I went through the recruiting process and got here to UCF. And I never thought I would want to stay even in state. I always was just like, oh, I'm going to go out of state and everything like that. And then once the end of kind of high school kind of started and I was in UCF came into the picture, I was just like, I want to stay close to home. I want to be able to be close to my family. I want my family to be able to come see me at every home game. And I would like to be able to stay in my hometown. I think it would be really nice to be able to do that. And I was able to get a sense of independence being at UCF, but out of the house. But I still had my family with me because I'm really close with my family. It would be so weird to think of my dad not being at the very top of the stands and everything like that. So it was first softball, then it came to volleyball, and I'm really happy that I made that decision with volleyball.
I never knew about the softball aspect of it. I'm blown away by that. As somebody who does softball on the side, what position did you play?
So I was first base mostly, and then once I kind of got into college showcases, I was center field.
Wow.
When I was younger, I kind of did everything, but once I got older to about 12, 13, the year actually our summer league for Babe Ruth, we won the World Series. I was first base there. So I was first base for that season. And then going into, college showcases and other travel, I went to center field.
What kind of player were you as a softball player? A slap hitter? What were you, power hitter? What were you type of player would you be describe yourself?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was middle of the pack. I was my hitting was not, I wasn't a cleanup hitter or anything like that.
You felt more confident hitting the ball in a volleyball court than a softball diamond is what it sounds
Yeah, I
like. Okay.
also I also kind of blame that on my growth spurt too, and that's what me and my dad still kind of talk about. That you know when we got to a real important age of softball, I grew like 6 inches, and so I could never get my hitting zone right or anything. So I was just like, I don't know anymore. But yeah.
Well, you mentioned why you picked UCF, but how did you end up at UCF as far as, when you met the staff, were you a walk-on or were you kind of recruited? How was that process as far as getting to UCF?
Yeah, so actually, I was recruited by Mike G and Michelle Chapman, and that was like my sophomore year for club season, and then I went to a summer camp, and it was like a 1 day camp because that's all like my parents could really do at the time was just the 1 day camp, and so my mom's like, "You're just gonna do this? I'm sorry." I'm like, "It's fine, like just to go and everything." And then that's when Todd actually saw me when I was swinging and everything. And then at the end of that camp, since obviously he couldn't contact me because I wasn't of age yet. Like my club coach, Felix Vieira, was just like, "Hey, like you have his number. Like I think you should call him like after everything." And I was just like, "You think so?" He was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "When?" He was like, "Right now." Like as soon as I hang up the phone, I was like, "Okay." And so I called him, and that's where it kind of took off. And I ended up committing my junior year in like October. Um, but yeah, so I was actually recruited by some other people, but Mike and Michelle, they're great. I still keep in touch with Mike, and I talked to Michelle, last summer or something like that during COVID. But now we have Jenny and Brian, who are just absolutely amazing too. I'm very lucky to be able to have them as coaches as well.
I remember when we've talked in the past, you told me you came to UCF volleyball matches even before you were at UCF. Is that accurate, right? Like you would
Yeah.
come to do you remember the first time you came to a UCF volleyball match or even a deal or even not maybe a UCF sporting event like a football game, stuff like that?
I remember, so actually when I was younger, I used to go to the softball camps at UCF when I
Oh,
was little, yeah. And then when I was in high school and I started playing volleyball and UCF was in the picture of like, oh, I kind of might be interested in them and it'd be really cool. I started going to their games, and it was when they had like Abby Fleener, Jayla, Kia, all of them. Uh, so I watched them as well. But yeah, I want to say probably my first like UCF sporting thing was probably softball camps when I was little. And then when I was in high school, I started going to the volleyball games and all that. And I just kind of kept falling in love. And yeah.
so once you get to UCF, tell me what it was like to be part of the team as a freshman and then moving forward, because obviously you'll be part of this tremendous success you've currently had. But you got there, just take me what it was like to be there and being the youngster as opposed to now where you're the vet.
Yeah. I think it's me and Christina Fisher came in at the same time. And I think we're really lucky that we had such an amazing group of upperclassmen surrounding us to kind of show us the ropes. I mean, we had Taylor Wiki, Kia, we had Jordan Pingle, and Miranda. We had some amazing mentors that were able just to show us, college, how volleyball works, how we work, how it goes. And I really kind of took everything, a little bit from each of them to really kind of show or bring that into how I am with the younger girls now and helping them, show them the ropes and how it kind of goes.
Did you have a player that took you under her wing that helped you kind of when you first got there and things like that?
Uh, Actually, when it was during a preseason tournament, and it was when one of the hurricanes hit Florida. We were stuck in Arkansas for a while, and my roommate was Kia. And I remember for a couple of nights when we were stuck in there, we had some really long talks, and she became, you know, that quiet mentor to me. And I was really lucky that she was able to like just talk to me and share some of her experiences and her wisdom with me. Uh, so having her that first season was awesome. And then obviously Taylor Wiki was just an amazing person to have in the middle right next to me, being like this little freshman right side, kind of, nervous, but still having her with me to keep me up and to keep me moving as well.
You've talked in the past about the pride you have as with the success at home at the venue and making that a home court advantage, being a local person. Expand on that from the pride standpoint. Having playing at the venues turned into a great atmosphere for volleyball. It's been a tremendous home court for the program. You've been a big part of building that with the success and everything. What does that mean though, as a local person? I imagine there's a special pride for that.
Yeah, as always, having all the fans there in the venue is absolutely amazing. We're so lucky to have the fan base that we do. And I think just for me being right down the road, it makes me feel very lucky to be able to play for my hometown team just for a couple more years. It's awesome to be there and kind of represent Oviedo and Orlando as a whole, and just to see the fan base that's, behind us.
Of course, you played at Hagerty High School. Emily Lawrence, who's on the team, also played at Hagerty. Did you two knew each other way back since high school, or did you get to know each other better now? What's it been like having a fellow Hagerty teammate?
Yeah, so we knew of each other when we were in high school. I was a senior when she was a freshman, and I want to say we weren't able to play on the same team my senior year, but we definitely knew of each other, and I kind of always knew the talent that she had. I remember seeing her in club and everything. So I was very excited when she committed to UCF and when I found out she was coming. And she's been such a sweetheart. She's been awesome on and off the court. She's just amazing. So
do you feel that you could be like a pipeline? Because I've talked to the staff about how important you were to this program from the standpoint of being a local, to kind of be able to endorse the program, being a local person and getting more local kids, because it's a talent-rich area that people maybe underestimate how talented the state is in volleyball, especially in this market. Do you sense that you could be sort of the pipeline where you're going to see more kids coming locally to play at UCF because of you?
Oh, I don't know if it's just because of me and I don't think it's just because of one singular person. I think it's because if more people in this area come to UCF, I think it's because of the program as a whole and the culture that we show and the coaching staff that's here. This area is definitely filled with a lot of talented athletes. I'm involved with the club volleyball around here, and I know a lot about the high school ball still around here from being involved with club, and there are some very talented individuals around here. So I think a lot of the athletes would just fall in love with the program in it itself. I don't think it'll just be because of one singular person.
Was there a turning point, either a match or a moment, where you felt like, you know what, I belong here. I could play here at this level, at this high level throughout your career? Was there that moment? Because when you walk in, there's always that kind of like trying to find your confidence, right? You're going from a high school to college, Division I level. You're not sure exactly if you belong or you fit in or everything, or at least in some cases. Was there that moment where you felt confident, like, yeah, I got this. I know exactly I could compete. I could play at this level.
Yeah, I remember coming in my freshman year, that preseason, I was really nervous. I was just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to expect or anything like that. And I remember my mentality was just, I'm just going to go out there and play volleyball. I'm not going to worry about anything else or anybody else. I'm just going to worry about being a good teammate, doing my best on the court, everything that I can. And I think probably my first game, it was in Colorado. We had a preseason tournament. I remember like the day before we left, Todd was calling me and he was just like, I'm wanting to play you, and I want this to be a decision between the two of us, because obviously if I play you and it keeps going, that would eliminate your redshirt season and everything. And I just kind of told him, I was just like, whatever you want, I'm going to do, and whatever's best for the team, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do my best. And that first game in Colorado, I think it was Colorado State, I want to say, but I was very nervous. But at the end of it, I realized I was just like, okay, with the girls surrounding me and just with the coaching staff that I had, I was just like, okay, I can do this. I was like, okay.
It's pretty good. When you were at Hagerty, did you compete in the high jump?
I did.
Okay, so that's what I saw that. I thought so. I saw that. Because you did, I believe, and you had a school record in the high jump, I believe, with a 1.57 meters. I'm curious about that because how much did that help you as far as the volleyball aspect of it? You know, doing high jump when it comes to blocking shot, being at the net. I have to believe there's some correlation there that maybe assisted in that.
Oh wow, that was so long ago now that I'm thinking about it. That was my senior year of high school, and I remember like my AP Gov teacher, him and his wife taught anatomy, and I had her as well. So my senior year, he was the track coach, and he was just kind of convincing me. He was just like, "Hey, come on, like you can do it. Like I know you jump out of the world. Like just try it. Like if you don't like it, that's fine, but just come over and try it." And I was just like, all right, I'll do it." Um, and so yeah, I did the high jump and I did it for like a season my senior year of high school, and it was a lot of fun. I actually had a teammate's dad help me, who I still stay in touch with to this day. He coached me, and that's kind of where I learned the high jump. And it did help with just like footwork and everything like that. But I think if anything more, the volleyball helped me with the high jump more than I think the high jump
Okay.
helped me with volleyball.
That's pretty impressive. Just, oh yeah, I'm just going to do this for a year and you break school record. That's pretty good. That's not too shabby. Uh, Obviously now you begin conference play.
Mhm.
Uh, this is kind of your last go around as far as your volleyball, UCF career. Uh, do you know what you plan on doing post UCF volleyball? Has that even crossed your mind? Do you have a plan, or is that one of those you'll address that after you're done playing?
I kind of have a plan. It's a little bit of I kind of have a plan. I'm kind of going to see what happens. Uh, oh wow, it was so weird to think that this is going to be my last season playing volleyball. Oh, wow. I mean, I even knew I got an extra year, but God, this is weird. No, but I'm in grad school right now. So I'm in grad school for business management, and that will take me until summer of 2022. So I'll finish it there, and hopefully I'll be able to get an internship, something like that in spring after season's over with. And then I'll also be coaching a lot in spring as well. I'll be coaching high school and also be coaching club. So I'm really excited for that. I've been doing that for about 5 years now. So I really like being able to do that in my off season. And now just when season's going to be over with for me in general. But after graduate school, I'm hoping to somehow get a job and stay in sports somehow.
That's pretty amazing coaching. You and McKenna. McKenna wants to get into coaching. Obviously, her mom was a coach. What I mean, I don't know. Is that something you two have talked about coaching, or that you both might be interested in coaching volleyball, coaching beyond once you're all your careers or your playing days are done?
Yeah, we definitely have talked about how obviously she wants to be able to go back to Minnesota. Her mom coached at high school and everything. I think she wants to be able to coach at high school as well. We talked about how I coach club. We kind of tell each other and the whole team just our stories with it, and just my stories with coaching club, and how it's a little different being on the other side of it. Before you were a player in club, and we kind of talk about that. And now we talk about how I'm the coach at club and dealing with all of that, but also having a lot of fun with it too.
How has Coach Dagenais influenced you as a player and as a person here moving forward? Because obviously you've known him for a while. He's obviously coached you. What has it been like playing for him and the impact he's had on you?
It's just I've been really lucky to have him as a coach, along with the other coaches as well. I think all three of them have really impacted me, not only as an athlete, but as a person in general. Uh, Todd is somebody that he cares a lot about academics. He cares a lot about how we play, but at the same time, he cares so deeply for us, just off the court and with our mental health and how we're doing. Um, and that kind of really means a lot to us. And it means a lot to me to know that, yes, he cares about us like as athletes and how we're performing, but at the same time, him and the other coaches like Jenny and Brian, they also want to check in on us. They want to make sure, how we're doing, especially for me. They kind of know I haven't had the greatest summer with some things, but all three of them have really checked in on me, and they've made sure that I'm all good. They've made sure, they always ask how school's going. They also know that I'm starting grad school, which is completely different than undergrad. And so they're checking on me with that. So just the fact that, him and the rest of the staff care about us more than just athletes, they care about us as people and how we're doing. It's been awesome to have that throughout these last 5 years of college.
As you get into conference here, as we mentioned, and then obviously I know you're as a team, you have big aspirations. from a postseason standpoint. You've been to the NCAA's 3 times. You got to the round of 32 in 2019. But I know as a team, you're not satisfied with just that. Just talk to me. How do you feel about your team as far as the accomplishments, the goals you have internally, where you're at right now? Do you feel like you're at where you need to be? Are you close to where you need to be as a team? Are do you feel that you're starting to peak at the right time? Kind of take me where the team temperature is right now.
Definitely. We know that we have, a lot of potential. We know that there's so much talent within our team. We're very deep with that. We know that we have, ways to go, but we are getting there. And we see it every day in practice of, how much we're changing and how we're just even growing and bettering ourselves. That 1% is helping us every day. Even, off the court things, taking care of ourselves through treatment, making sure our bodies are rested, our minds are rested, just seeing us improve that little bit makes a huge change for us. So we obviously we're always improving. We're always getting better every single day. And we're not where we want to be, but we know that we can see it coming very soon.
Last thing for you is years from now, you're probably going to get honored. You're probably going to be at a ring of honor there at volleyball court with all the accomplishments you have. You're rightfully so. I mean, you've resume, your speaks for itself. But when people bring you up 5 years from now, 6 years from now, as maybe future nights are trying to chase your records down and your name gets brought up, what do you want people to say about you?
Oh, that's kind of surreal to think about. I think I would just want people to say that I was, the kind of teammate that people could go to that, had a very, calm sense on the court and calm composure off the court as well. And that I was the kind of person that, other teammates could go to whenever they just needed to talk or, they needed advice or anything like that, kind of like little mama bear. So I hope that, that's the impression that I'm able to leave in years to come.
Well, you've left a great impression to this point, and you still got a lot of volleyball left in you, which is the exciting thing about it as you begin conference play. Congrats on the record. Congrats on all the accomplishments you've had to this point. We wish you for more accomplishments and success here moving forward. But in the meantime, thanks for joining us. And again, it's been a pleasure to be watching you play and continue to watch you play. And good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you so much. It was so nice talking to you.